So your apartment is very cool, but it could always be a tiny bit cooler. So in this video, I'm going to run through 5 really simple, cheap, renter-friendly things you can do to make your apartment a little bit nicer. We're going to use a very realistic, normal-looking apartment for this. We're not going to sub out the furniture. We're not doing anything structural. So the first quick change I'll recommend is using a less is more approach to flowers. Bouquets are often sold with a ton of flowers in them, and that can look really nice. It can also look a little tacky, but I've been seeing over the past couple of years, people really embrace less is more in terms of flowers with tablescapes. And I think that can also be applied to homes. So I would recommend just picking one flower or even just filler, the kind of filler greenery you can find at Trader Joe's, and arranging that in an interesting way and seeing how that looks. I feel like it feels a lot more modern. There's also this Japanese style of flower arranging called ikebana, where you actually place each individual flower into this little spiky thing, and that looks really cool. And then you can do something very sculptural with it. Let's put that in our apartment. And yeah, I think it looks cooler than just a big kind of cheesy bouquet. Next up is going to be get a funky ass fruit bowl. So there's so many fun fruit bowls you can get, and this will be living in your kitchen. And I feel like when you're renting a kitchen, you're kind of locked into the look and feel of the kitchen, like the finish of the cabinets, the tile. There's not a ton you can do if you don't want to get weird with contact paper, but fruit bowls can be such a fun place to buy something that is a little funky and functional that will, just complement your everyday life, and you can bring some color or interesting materials into your kitchen. So here I found this one from the MoMA. It's like a net style, and it looks really interesting. So I'm going to add it to our little apartment and look so cute. Tip number 3 is to cover your damn windows. So you might have curtains in your bedroom because you need blackout curtains, but there's often windows in your apartment that you leave uncovered. And I think in this example, it really adds a lot to soften up the space if we add some really nice linen curtains that will kind of filter the light, even if they're not, full blackout curtains or anything. That's not really the goal here. It's just to add warmth to the space. So they're not really serving a huge purpose other than softening the light and adding warmth. So number 4 on this list is going to be to add some elements of directional light. So we've heard the advice, don't use the big light, use lamps. Lamps are king. We love lamps, and I totally agree. You should definitely have lamps, but I feel like people already know that. So one creative idea is to add a little touch of directional light in your space, because light looks really nice diffused against a wall or being used for a specific purpose. So in this room, I'm adding a little sconce light that's movable next to the couch area. That will be a reading light. And also a little bit of art light. So a light directly above the art that shines down at it just to highlight it. And then this is what it'll look like at night. So the art we have here in the kitchen says, "Live simply, dream big." And that's a great sentiment, but I think we're going to replace it. So tip number 5 is to take your personal photos and frame them yourself in a really interesting, modern way. I've been seeing a lot of really cool photos that have been framed kind of small with a very large mat. If you have any old photos lying around, you could go through the process of just, creating a little custom mat. You can place a photo on top of a colored piece of paper if you're feeling sketchy. It's really not that much work to do it yourself. So here I'm throwing 2 cool little modern frames in. And if you're not sure how to approach that, I just went through it. I just thrifted 5 frames and ordered the mats and mocked up all the custom designs. So I just made a video on that whole process, which will be on the screen now. So go check it out. Hope these tips were helpful. Thank you for watching.